Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I am working on the truck changing the fuel tank while I'm waiting for the UPS truck to deliver that bonsai pot from Stefan, the 3D printed one for my ficus microcarpa. It's mid-afternoon now and I'll recap the work on the truck so far today. Today, instead of getting manure from the horse barn, we got concrete. So we got a whole bunch of concrete slabs that were stored out back, which we're just going to be thrown out or ground into concrete dust or something. So a whole pile of those. We also got a whole pile of cinder blocks. They're useful for putting under the water tanks. You can see my cinder block foundation I put underneath the tank here. A row of plywood on top, and then the tank sits on top of that. So I've started using some of the water out of my tank. We're pretty dry here. We haven't had a lot of rain this spring. So I've been putting it into the bucket and using it for watering my trees. So it's nice to have a reserve of water on hand. I still have some work to do on the front garden here. I'm going to put manure down to feed the trees and then wood chips to keep the weeds down. So on the truck, I've got a leaky fuel tank. The original tank rusted out. I took it down to Toronto to a fuel tank place that repairs them, and they fixed all the holes in it. They put an epoxy liner on the inside. It still leaked though, so last summer I was patching up all the little holes I could find with the gas tank putty, and that sort of worked. So it turns out I can only put about $10 worth of gas in the truck. If I put too much more, it starts leaking out everywhere. And even with $10 gas in the truck, it smells like gasoline inside, like really strong. So it's definitely leaking even with that low amount in the tank. So today I've got to pull the tank out. I've got a brand new one I ordered from the States last summer, towards the end of summer, and I'll be putting that in. The replacement tank was really expensive. It was like $500. It was like $199 American, but by the time I got it shipped up to Canada, all the duties and shipping and everything, it cost me like 500 bucks, which is a lot of money for a gas tank, but what can I do? So my plan today is to work on the truck. I can be out front here watching for the UPS truck at the same time and get that gas tank replaced. That'll be nice to be able to fill the truck up for once. I try and do all my work on the bonsai on camera, so you get to see every operation and every procedure I do on the trees. There were a few that I had to trim off camera just to get them to fit into the greenhouse here. My Brazilian rain tree, it had these, there's about 5 shoots that were really long and really spreading, so I had to prune it back just to get it in the greenhouse. My Sarissa over here, I had a whole bunch of shoots that were, again, really long compared to the others. So I just pruned them back. Just so, you know, I didn't have these grippy long shoots sticking out, blocking the light getting to the other trees. I've been keeping all these trees in the greenhouse here overnight for the last 2 days now. It's been, you know, in the positive temperatures at nighttime, which is good. Reasonable temperatures. So with the heater running in here, I've got it on right now. It's maintaining not too bad a temperature in the greenhouse. Let me see what it is. It's about, that's about 15 degrees Celsius, or what is that in Fahrenheit? About 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, not warm but not cold. My Norway maple is coming out into leaf, and they're beautiful leaves. I love them. There's the top part of it coming out. Yeah, they look fantastic. In the backyard here, we've got our pile of manure. It's getting larger. Every time we get more manure, we put it on the pile. We can use it for making gardens back here, or planting trees and bushes and shrubs. So that's awesome. All the ferns are beginning to come up in the backyard, so that'll make it look nice. My elms are coming out into leaf nicely. They look good. I am making progress on the fuel tank. I've got the seat unbolted, I've got the seat belts unbolted, and I've got these brackets unbolted from the back. These brackets stop the seat folding forward, so it makes it a rigid seat. And with it forward with it back, you know, bolted up rigid, you can't get the back seat out the back doors. It's too big. So I'm hoping, now that it's folded up like this, that I can get the rear seat out the rear doors. If I can't get it out, that means I have to come up front and take the front seat out, because they fit through the front doors. It fits through the front doors. And then I've got to slide the back seat up to the front and take it out the front doors, that's what I did last time, and it was kind of a pain in the neck. So I'm hoping this works, that I can get it out without taking the front seat out. I've got the back seat out now. It did fit through the door when the seat was folded up, so that was good. So I've unhooked the fuel line. I've got to take the Cinder unit out and the float and everything. I think I've got to take these fittings off. There's a 90-degree fitting, a fuel fitting there. Right there. So I got to take that off and put it in the new tank. Here's all my putty. You can see it's falling off. I've never seen the new fuel tank yet. It's been in this box all winter from LMC Truck. Yeah, so quite an expensive fuel tank. I hope it's in good shape. It's not dented or anything. So I'm going to open it up now and see what fittings I need to put onto it. Okay, hopefully that's it. Well, there it is. Bit of a bent flange here, bit of a bent flange there. There's where that fitting goes in the Cinder unit. Yeah, other than those bent flanges, it should be okay. Here's a look at the fuel tank. Yeah, so these flanges are bent a bit, so I'll have to straighten those up. Must have got bent in shipping. They probably throw these things around. Hopefully it's still all sealed properly. My worry is that it's, you know, split the welds, but the welds look intact there. So I think it's okay. All right, well, let's straighten that up and then get it in. I got the flanges on the fuel tank straightened out. I just used this tool. I made sure I put the cloth around it, clamp it on like that, and they just bend it a bit. It bent really easily. Yeah, so they're straightened out. The fuel tank came with a brass fitting for the fuel line there, so I can use a new one. Kind of nice. I also ordered a new gas cap and the rubber that goes around the fuel filler neck on the outside of the truck. That one was all, you know, decrepit looking. I've got the fuel filler out. Down here is the cap, the neck, the rubber tube, the bands. I've got a new gasket or rubber plug for here. The old one was really, it was stiff and very worn out. I've had a bit of a problem here. I was taking the old fuel line out and it would not budge. I noticed that the corners on the hex were already rounded, so I think someone else had tried to take it out at one point. So I eventually had to get the vice grips on it and just turn it, and it just kind of ripped it out from the tank. I'll show you what it looks like over here. So this is what it looks like. So that's the top of the tank, and this is the fuel intake. It reaches the bottom of the tank and sucks up the fuel to the engine. And it had this, there's the bolt that's rounded. It has this 90-degree metal fuel hose on top. So I've got up to this point. This is the brass. This is the brass thing. And I thought, oh my goodness, what if I don't have that piece that goes in the tank? So I checked, I pulled this plug out. here, and you can see the fuel filler is in there, the one that reaches the bottom of the tank. So all I need is a fitting that goes in here and a piece of 90-degree fuel line, steel fuel line. So I'm hoping to get that at a automotive parts supply place, and then I can start getting the tank in.
Yep, this is for you. That's okay, I don't need anything from you, just need your name.
Okay, Nigel Saunders.
Nigel, okay, thanks so much.
I thought I had to sign for it, didn't I?
We just can't do it because of COVID, but
okay,
as long as we see each other and I got your name.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay.
Wow, look at this. Well, the package came finally. That was a look at what I worked on in the morning. So I'm back to present time now. So I've got the gas tank out. My wife and I lifted it out. I'm just painting this area. These were the cracks in this structural member here that they welded up. Mike did that, both sides. So that never got painted, so I'm got some primer on there now. I'll put some red top coat on it, and then the fuel tank can go in, and hopefully it'll fit okay. Here's the old fuel tank here, and it's got a fair amount of gas in it. So I'm not sure if my gas gauge is reading correctly or not, but yeah, so I'm going to drain that out into a fresh gasoline container. I've got a funnel here with a really, really fine mesh in it that I can screen the gasoline through here, just in case, you know, there's bits of rust or anything in the bottom of the tank that I don't want going into my fuel. So that'll be one of my next steps, is to pour the gasoline out of the old tank into a gasoline container. I can't get over how large the new pot is. I'm so used to seeing my 3D printed pot here with my ficus, and behind it is the big brother. So quite a difference in size. It is 6 in the afternoon. I'm making good progress. So I've got the new fuel tank in. It fit pretty good, except you can see there's a bolt down here at the bottom, and there's one over here, but I couldn't line the fuel tank up to get that second bolt in down there. So I've got all the ones across the top here, and I don't know. If I line that one up, then that doesn't fit at the top. So I don't know if I need to like jack up part of the truck body here to make it line up or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'll fiddle with that later. I've got the new Cinder unit in here with the float and everything. I also had to, in the old tank they used self-tapping sheet metal screws, and this tank had nice threaded holes in it. So I looked around and I found some bicycle water bottle bolts that fit perfectly. So I've got those in place, so they're pretty spiffy looking now. So there's a rubber gasket in there. It's all connected up. So next I'm going to do the fuel filler nozzle over here. And after that, I can fill the tank. I got to bolt down the fuel tank. It's just in there loose right now. But yeah, it's too bad I can't get that other bolt in over there. I'll keep playing around with it. Maybe I can wiggle things and try and get it in. But yeah, making good progress. This is the old tank here, and a lot of the tank putty held up really well. Did a good job sealing it. It's just there was, you can see, it was leaking in a few places. I guess mainly on the front. This putty was, you can see, it's loose. So that didn't hold at all. But that's pretty high up. There must have been some down low that were leaking too. Or maybe it's just when the, the fuel sloshes around in the tank that it comes out that upper hole. But yeah, it'll be nice getting a new tank in this truck. I've got the fuel tank all hooked up and ready to go. I'll show you that. So there's my new fuel line So it's a little higher, but this line comes up. It slides up here, so there's no problem. It's all connected up. The only thing it's missing goes in here, gasoline. So I've got to drain that other tank and into a container, and then I can pour it in. Yeah, get the gas out of there, and I'll be ready to fire it up and check for leaks, and if not, if there's no leaks, that'll be a job done. Well, it's still the same day, and I hear the sound of a V8 over here. Let's go have a look. So there it is. The installation is complete. I don't see any leaks. I got everything bolted down. Looking good. There's Laura. What do you think, Laura?
I was just going to see what it says about the...
Yeah, the gas gauge doesn't seem to be reading very accurately.
Just looking for it. Oh, empty. Oh, okay.
I tried fiddling around with the leads, but no luck.
Okay.
So I'll try filling it up, because I know it does go up if you fill it. So maybe it's just the wrong resistor in it or something, and it doesn't read accurately.
Okay.
But it's looking good. No leaks or anything, so started right up. Yeah, I don't know how full it is. I would say it's probably a third full.
Yeah, or more. It's quite a bit. It's, well, we'll figure out what that, that jerry can holds. And
yeah.
Then,
we know
yeah.
it's not. I can go fill it tonight, and we'll see what happens.
See what the difference is.
Yeah. All right, I'll do that. So I got to put the seat back in still, but there's no rush for that. I can do that anytime. I did spill a little bit of gasoline when I was pouring it out of the old tank, but not too much, just enough to soak the cardboard. The fuel in it was good and clean. There's no particles or anything, so that's good. So I got to pack up my workshop here, and I'll go fill the truck with fuel for the first time in, gee, a long time. All right, that is the end of a fairly long day. But I got the truck down. I'm gonna go fill it with fuel now for the first time in a long time. At least it doesn't smell like gas in here anymore. I smell a bit like gas, my hands in that, but there's our neighbor. Okay, let's get some windows open. Some fresh air in here. I'm really happy with that 3D printed pot that Stefan made for me and finished, and it's beautiful. It still freaks me out seeing how large it is. I've never seen a 3D printed object so large before. I've seen them on YouTube videos, but never in real life, and it's kind of cool to see it. Now, I hope they're open. Are they open? Yeah, they're open. All right. Engine off. I think there's a Canadian theme here. Petro Canada, Canadian truck. All right, so that took $83 worth of fuel to fill it up. So I'm thinking the gauge will come up now. Let me try it out here. Oh, I gotta get the key out. Hold on. Okay, the gauge is climbing. It's climbing to halfway. It's climbing to 3/4. And it's climbing to full. So the gauge works. I just didn't realize how much fuel this thing carries. That's probably a lot of weight on that tank. All right. Let's go back home now with our full load of fuel. Holy. Nice downshift there. Match the revs perfectly. Okay, we're home. Gauge is still reading just slightly under full, which is probably about right. I bet you with that old gas cap on, it probably sloshed out the side when I turned the corner. All right, so that's it for today. That's it for the bonsai. I've already watered all my trees today too. I gotta water the ones indoors. I still have my tropical trees indoors, even though it was a beautiful day and the nights are getting warmer. So they all gotta come outside soon. So I'll have to set up that table from the basement outside and find a spot for them all. That'll be nice getting them outside. And they may get a little sunburnt because I can't fit them all into the greenhouse. I can maybe take some out of the greenhouse now and put them out on the bench, but yeah, sort of a transitional time, spring, late spring, turning to summer. All right, well, that's it for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me today in the Bonsai Zone.